Welcome to The Engaging Life, a podcast about using engagement equity to improve your relationship building skills in your personal and professional life. And now, here are your hosts, Brandon Suba and Angela Cheney.
Well, hi there, Brandon.
Well, afternoon.
Yes.
Angie,
it
how are
is.
you on this hot afternoon?
Fantastic. I love the heat.
Do you?
So
I don't love this heat.
I don't mind it if I'm not stuck out in it in the sun.
No, that's, well,
If I can make the choice to go out in it.
if I'm by a pool out in this, then I'm okay. But I always hate when there's business things, like business meetings outside. And
Oh, there's one at 4 o'clock today.
outside?
It said lawn games.
Oh, yeah?
So whenever we've had events here, they have been out in the parking lot. So we'll see how this goes.
Is that here?
No.
Okay, that's somewhere else.
And it's like 4 o'clock, which is pretty much the hottest part of the day. So,
Peak.
but
yeah.
there will be drinks.
I don't
So I'm
know.
good.
I mean, yes,
I'm
but
good. You can lure me almost anywhere with drinks, unless it's really cold.
big second. Oh, see, now cold, I'd be like, I'm there.
No.
But if you're outside
Barf.
in the cold, I don't understand your
No.
organization.
No, that's a
very
bad
well.
event.
That's a
right
bad
there.
event.
Let's hang out in the parking lot in January. Yeah.
I've done meetings out in parking lots a couple times, and it's because
We don't want to talk about your drug deals.
no, because the event space didn't open,
Oh.
and so we were just like, hey, it's a nice
Let's
morning.
just
Let's
meet,
just
yeah.
meet right here. I did hear something once. You know how you can make a meeting quick and short?
Do it outside?
No, make everyone stand.
Oh, yeah.
Because then no one wants to hang out. But if you're sitting, people are just chilling. But
That's-
yeah, to get
What
people
about
moving.
laying down?
That's another meeting note. That's a
Kneeling.
different meeting. Everyone on
Everybody
your
kneel.
knees.
That would be a quick meeting because that hurts.
Yeah,
So-
that does. Okay,
So
sorry.
we're still on the customer value journey here. I want to make this one relatively short because, by this time you've gone through a lot of the steps, a lot of the things. Don't need to beat a dead horse.
Of course. Of course.
It's a fine kettle of fish where you're beating a dead
Oh,
horse.
man, the fish in
All
the
of the above.
kettle.
And we've already been through 5 of the steps. So if you have not been with us, please go back. Step 1, generating awareness. Step 2, driving engagement. Step 3, building subscribers. Step 4, increasing conversions. And the last step, step 5, excite.
Oh, it's like we're not to the last step yet. The last
No.
step we covered.
The last step we
5.
covered.
Excite!
Yes, correct. Now we are on ascend. There are 2 more steps after
That's what I
this
thought.
one. Two more steps. So what does it mean to have your customer ascend?
I think of Jesus.
You think of Jesus?
I do. When I was reading this, I was like, and we ascend into the abyss.
Yes, that is you would not ascend into the abyss because the abyss is down here.
Oh, you know
You
what?
would ascend into the heavens.
So I know what ascend is. Obviously,
Descend.
don't know the abyss definition.
You would be descending into
Okay.
the abyss.
Ascend to the heavens.
Yes, there we go. Ascend to the heavens. Descend to the abyss. That would be a good band name.
That would be.
Yeah. Descend to the abyss. Anyway.
Okay.
Anyway, we're a little off topic here. It's been one of those weeks.
It has.
One of those lives.
Everybody is saying that it's been one of those weeks.
Well, the heat makes people goofy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, in retrograde.
And we're Mercury in retrograde.
Like,
Everybody's a little goofy.
I don't necessarily get behind that as much as you do, but I swear when people once it's been pointed out to me, I'm like, oh yeah, everyone's acting like
Been
crazy
some
people.
goofiness
Yes.
lately. Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
So a new client. So if you have gotten your client to sign on with you during the excite phase, or sometimes even the increased conversions stage, everything does not have to be this happens when this, it's a little bit flexible.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, you could be talking about prospects who still have not bought anything from you.
Oh.
Or you could be talking about new clients who have bought small things. So like when it comes to us, maybe they signed on for some social media presence. They've not yet bought the entire package of website branding, ads, et cetera, et cetera. Okay?
Okay.
So it can mean a couple different things. But normally, sending is when your client buys your core product or service. And not all businesses have one core product or service,
Right.
But most companies kind of have their gold standard. This is what we really want to sell, or this is a program we really want to get clients on. This is the big banana.
Or bread and butter. I use
the
that
bread
a
and
lot.
butter,
What's
yep.
your bread and butter in the referral world? Because I want to get you those referrals.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So kind of the main thing. So it can mean that. It could also mean if they have already bought something relatively large from you, or you don't have that core product, it means they are buying add-on products or services. Okay. Or it could also mean repeat business. So, our business is very circular. We've had clients for years because marketing doesn't stop, right? But if you're selling a product, you kind of sell it and you're done.
Countertops.
Yeah.
It was my first selling, and and you can play the game of, if they get a new house, or your bathrooms and stuff. But you're talking years in between those.
And so with that one, maybe ascend would mean when they give you a referral.
Yeah.
Or something like that. And there are some cases where you might skip this step altogether because it doesn't apply to your business.
Oh, yeah.
So the way the CVJ works, it's a flywheel, and sometimes it does exactly what it's supposed to do. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it goes shoop, 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 and sometimes it skips a stage, and it all depends on the business.
Sure.
Not every business is the same. So this is kind of generalities. Okay. So like at Pixelfire, if they already got a website built by us, they would ascend if they agreed to do a second website for maybe their other business.
Ooh.
They would ascend if they added on social media marketing. Okay. Or they might ascend if they started out with a 1-page or a 3-page site and then have decided to upgrade it to the 15 to 20-page site. Mm-hmm. Those would all be examples of ascending for a client at this stage. So now the whole goal is, how do we get them to ascend? So we're getting deep into the CVJ here, where most companies have given up many steps ago.
I would agree. Yes.
Many steps. Yep. They made a sale. They said, woohoo, on to the next one. So we're getting pretty deep into this. So if this is new, it can be very hard to stick to, continuing to work these steps, because you might feel they aren't necessary.
Right.
You might feel, hey, we already sold them everything we got.
We're done.
I want to go after this new fish instead. So it's really important here to kind of stay the course. This is almost anything that you do in life, because you start something, first it's exciting, right?
Yep.
And you're all about it. You're telling your friends, woohoo, I'm doing X, Y, Z. And then you do it and you get some results. So that's fun too. Woohoo. And then you go on to that next stage where you have to keep putting in the work, but you're not really getting the results. It's not fun anymore. It's kind of tedious. It's no longer new. And that's the stage where most people give up.
So golf. I feel like you just described golf.
Workout programs, new hobbies.
Learning an instrument, because you can learn the basics and make some noise, but then when you really start digging into it, and it's
writing a novel.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Always where I give up.
Is it?
Yeah, because it's like I've done the fun thing. I've set the outline. I got my characters. I've started writing it, and then you're getting into that. I don't know what to do here. This isn't fun anymore. This feels like work.
This is work.
And you give up. And so anybody will tell you that to continue doing something and be successful at it and to be happy doing it, you have to love the process, not the result. Mm-hmm. And this is, I always give Todd as example. I'm glad he doesn't listen to these because it sounds terrible. But
I'm sure he doesn't.
He tells me he doesn't.
Liz doesn't.
No, he doesn't. He says he wants to think of me as his wife, not as a podcast. That sounded worse. Anyway, he's always talking about how he wants to be in a band. And, this is his big thing but he's not really interested in learning how to play the guitar. He had one for many, many moons. I made the mistake of actually buying him a thing of sheet music from his favorite band that I thought was the greatest gift ever, until I realized he didn't really know how to play and doesn't really want to know how to play. He just kind of wants to bring it out in front of, I think if he could have learned 5 chords.
Yeah.
Just so he could impress people when they came over, that's really all he wanted. But he did not enjoy the process of learning the instrument. Mm-hmm. And so he's never going to be in a band.
No.
I mean, for multiple reasons, but that's one. And like writing a novel, you really have to enjoy the writing and editing process instead of just wanting the book published.
Right.
So it's enjoying the process. And that's the same thing with the CVJ, is as a business owner or marketer, whoever is putting this into place, if you can learn to love each one of these steps, you're in great shape.
Sure.
Instead of just wanting to get to that end, or like many people do, getting to what they think is the end, making the sale, and stopping.
And then peace out.
But this is the deep area, the deep swampy area where a lot of people give up. Mm-hmm. So it's important. So how do you get people to ascend? If you do stick with it, you obviously need kind of a blueprint. How do I get this done? The big thing is, and this is true of every single step, keep giving value. You have to learn how to give value at every step, and it's going to look different depending on where they are in the process. Did they buy the core product? Didn't they? How long? I mean, it's going to depend on so many different things, but you've got to find a way to continue to give value. Okay, that's the first thing, and that's through every step. Another way you can get them to ascend is to offer discounts. So, for example, if we've got somebody who bought the 3-page website and the 12-page website is, let's say, normally an additional $10,000.
Okay.
We'd say, since you already bought the 3-page website, we can give you 10 more pages for only $5,000.
Cool.
Something of that nature. So offering a discount would be good. Offering an upgrade, that would also be good. So if you choose to do the bigger website, we'll upgrade your social media package to 7 posts a week.
Okay.
So an add-on, an upgrade. And then also staying in communication. So that's giving value right there, but that's also showing I'm not going to abandon you after I sell you something.
Yeah.
So keeping in that constant communication, whether that's, hey, we've got another product that would work well with this, but that's selling, so you don't want to do too much of that.
Okay.
It would be, hey, how's your new website working out for you? Have you noticed any bugs? Have you noticed any things that we could fix? Do you have new pictures that we could put on there? Have you uploaded a new blog post lately? You know, just kind of staying in communication. How can we keep helping? Do you have questions? Here's a white paper that shows you how to best utilize your new website. Do you need a training on it? You know, anything that you can add. Yes, it's great if they buy extra things, but it's even better if you can offer things for no charge that just helps them better utilize your product or service. So when you were selling countertops, maybe after selling it, you could have sent a little booklet, how to care for your new countertops, something like that.
We did cookbooks for a while, and that
Okay, that makes sense.
Because it's normally kitchens. Where I've had challenges with this is now in the banking world, right? Well, there's a lot of situations where they have the products they need. Like I can't take them any further.
Right.
But I think it's very important to, and I call it touches. I think companies are getting away from that because every now and then I'll have people be like, "Oh," I'm like, that's what you call them, right? But it's impressions, I guess you could call it too. And so for me, so I have my 1-year anniversary, so I've sent out a, hey, just remember I'm here,
in front of them.
Celebrating a year, and because I just realized how well that rhymes.
I'm here celebrating a year.
Oh, I'm going to change
dear.
it. I've already sent too many. Anyways,
no fear,
no fear, because I'm here.
I could keep going.
But that's where. And I always try to walk the line of don't be cheesy. Because I think if you get a letter every month from your financial advisor, just the, hey, it's June.
I know.
Or there's real estate agents that we've worked with quite a bit, and they send me stuff. And I just want to be like, hey, you can save your marketing dollars because we know who you are.
Yeah.
We are not going to forget about you. But I mean, any probably professional salesperson would tell you, no, do those things anyways.
I think you can do them right and you can do them wrong. And there's a lot of big businesses out there that sell, you know, the same stuff to the same industries. And so if you've been around that industry a lot, you start to recognize them.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and it's like, I don't need your realtor card that looks just like everybody else's realtor calendar or whatever it is that they're sending out. I think it needs to be thoughtful. I think it needs to be personalized and give some value. You know, a card that says, hey, I'm still around is not giving any value.
It is not. Nope.
It's selling. It's basically asking for a referral or I hate the, hey, I'm never too busy for referrals. Yes. Gross. Or there's no nicer compliment than a referral. Yeah. It's like, yeah, I know that. Yeah. And they'll get there. That's someday. Not giving value. That's attempting to sell more. Correct. It's really all it is. Well, I think people would have to be careful then on the ascend. Because, and what I liked about this too is I feel step 1 through 4, a discount is the worst idea ever. Right? Because that's selling. Right. But now we're to the point, and mind you, there's relationship here now and activity and they know who you are. But I like that you can include the discount. And you offered it in a classy way. And at this point, you're into step 6 here. If you've been doing it correctly, you've been giving value this whole time. You've earned the right to ask for an upgrade, to ask for those things. Because if you are familiar with engagement equity at all, the ask is just as important as the giving value. That's right. You know, timing that right and all of that. And we're in sales. So to say that you're never going to ask for a sale, you're never going to ask for them to spend money with you is ridiculous.
It is.
And it's not what the CVJ is.
Correct.
Sales are built into it. It's just giving enough value to earn the right to ask for those sales. So in this stage, and I'll go over this a little bit more when I get over to the relationship side of it, this stage is common for power struggles. So a power struggle between the vendor and the person that is sold is very common. So like with us, when we get to this point in a relationship with a client, this can be the pushback of, why am I not getting the results that my competitor's getting? Ooh. Why am I not on the first page of Google? Why I don't like those posts. I want to do these instead. So you can get into that power struggle phase. And that can be really tricky. That can be really tricky because it can happen for a number of reasons. Number one, they really don't think you're doing a good job, which is the worst reason.
That's the worst.
Number two, they're just kind of an alpha personality and you've been telling them what to do for so long, they feel like they have to push back and get their voice heard.
Yep.
Number three, they're looking for discounts. I mean,
no, you're right.
And number four is just establishing what this relationship is going to look like moving forward. Because if you have one like our company builds, our best clients are going to be with us for years. You know, hopefully for the entire time they're in business. And so we have a relationship. And so setting the boundaries, you know, and so on our side, we need to make sure that we're not constantly telling them what to do and not letting them win any of these power struggles.
Right.
Because it's the same thing with a relationship. Nobody can be the complete alpha without it being toxic. There has to be some give and take. And to be honest, we're a marketing company. If we're working with a roofing company, guess who probably knows more about roofing?
Them.
Probably not us.
Right.
So if they say, hey, this post didn't hit the mark because you talked about a gable roof and gable roofs aren't really common in Nebraska, and we decide to be jerks and be like, no, that's what we're going to do. And if you don't like it, and instead saying, thank you so much. That is really good to know. We're going to change that. And number one, letting them be right.
Yep.
And then number two, learning from it so that our next roofing client, we're not posting something about gable roofs if gable roofs aren't in Omaha, which they are. I've written a lot about gable roofs, but that was just an example.
I use that knowledge and being in the B&I circuit as long as I was, I learned a lot of those things and I would use it in conversations to sound somewhat educated in different fields. But then, and I like the let them be right, but then I would lean on them to correct me.
Yes.
Or to go further. I was having lunch with a guy with solar and he was talking about the power grid and all those things. And I knew some of it, but I let him educate me, kind of that be more interested and interesting. But knowing what you know about gable roofs, you could have a pretty quality, enjoyable conversation with
if you're willing to learn.
Yep.
And this stage too, the platinum rule, and this is in this whole era of feminism and all of that, this is going to sound bad, but knowing which clients work better if you have different people on your team. So the two partners at Pixelfire, I'm obviously female, and Dan is obviously male. And so sometimes, because, okay, take this for example. If Dan's sitting there with a roofer and he doesn't really know what the hell this roofer's talking about and it's kind of going, huh? The roofer is probably going to think Dan's kind of an idiot, right?
Sure.
If it's me and I'm kind of, huh? What's that roofer probably going to do? Ooh, I get to educate this young lady. And they're going to eat it up.
Yep.
And so being able to know who talks better, especially if you have a male-female dynamic. And what I just said is not always the case. Dan gets along very well with our exterior clients for the most part. But sometimes you get kind of that alpha male sort of thing going on, which Dan's the owner of a company. He can get kind of alpha male-y. And then we got owners of exterior, the most manly types of businesses you can get. You're going to get a lot of alpha males there too.
Right.
So sometimes it's better for somebody like me to step in and I'm just less of a threat.
Sure.
And they, I can learn more. I have a softer touch. They enjoy educating a woman about things and utilizing that instead of being kind of jerky. But you know how you can.
Yes. Yep. People.
Why should I have to just because I'm a woman? You know, it's like this is business.
It is.
If I can go in there and talk to them and have a better relationship simply because I'm a woman, so be it.
Right.
So be it.
And you guys are in an environment where it's every win is a win for everyone.
Absolutely.
I was in some very competitive commission sales where, I mean, if I won, you didn't get paid and I did.
Right.
And it was, I worked with all females, sales team females at the countertop place. But it got to a point where I would be like, I think you should actually work with this person.
Yeah.
Or I would go on a sales call, and within the sales call, in my head, I'm like, oh my gosh, Penny should be here because this woman doesn't trust a thing I'm saying.
Yeah.
I had one lady go, well, you seem pretty young for this position. And I was like, well, I've been doing it for 3 years and thank you. Not sure.
Yeah.
I guarantee you if Penny would have walked in there, close that deal.
Yep.
And it's hard. It's hard when you give up money, though.
It is. But you have to, you have to learn. You have to learn the room, learn to read the room,
baby.
And obviously the best is when you can alter yourself to fit the vibe of the room. And, you know, but at some point, Dan can't turn into a woman. You know, if that's what they really want is to talk to a woman, and I can't turn into a man. So I can definitely, and I think I do this quite well. I can kind of read the room and be like, can I curse? Can I not? Mm-hmm. Are they religious? Are they not? Do they want a woman who's just going to sit back and listen, or do they want to learn from them?
Right.
You can figure that out usually pretty easily.
Well, the more situations you're in, the more you learn.
Yeah.
I
if
think,
you're open to it, not everybody does.
I know. But doing so many in-home sales for 7 years, I learned so much.
Yeah.
So much versus, I don't know, I think like call centers or those types of selling, you don't learn jack crap.
Right.
Because you can't read somebody on the phone.
No, you learn to be bitter.
Yeah.
So let's go on quick to relationships, and then we can wrap this up. So the ascend stage would probably be the marriage stage.
Ooh.
Or in this day and age, having a baby, buying a house, a lot of times those happen before the marriage stage.
Yeah.
And so basically it's committing to a long-term relationship, because any of those three is, in my opinion, committing to a long-term, or committing to a long-term relationship. So again, this is the stage where power struggles normally happen. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the time, so the kind of, I don't want to say danger zone, because power struggles aren't bad.
Correct. I would agree.
They happen. I mean, it's a stage
two people together
of a relationship. Yep. So some signs that you're in the power struggle phase is the time period. Normally happens after the honeymoon phase. So it normally happens after the excite phase. Number 2, you're fighting more. So I remember Todd and I, this would have been last year, we were sitting at dinner. He's like, do you feel like we're fighting more than usual? I'm like, yeah. Kind of. And then we both were like, but I think it's a good thing, because we're both speaking up more. We're figuring out our boundaries. It wasn't that we were starting to hate each other.
Right.
It was that we're figuring it out. So you're fighting more. Disconnection is very common during power struggle phase, because as you're setting those boundaries, when one person wins, you're going to be disconnected before you figure out how to bring that back together. Less emotional, physical intimacy can happen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Seeking attachment or needing fulfillment outside the relationship. So this does not necessarily mean cheating.
Right.
It doesn't. And this is what's happened with us. I've figured out how much I need a whole lot more connection than Todd does.
Okay.
And those are the basic human needs. We don't need to go through the Tony Robbins stuff. I think we have before. But my number one need is connection. Todd's bottom need is connection.
Didn't you guys do a test and you found that out?
Yeah. So they're completely opposite. So one of two things is going to happen if I don't find something outside the relationship. I'm either going to smother Todd or I'm going to be constantly in need of connection I'm not getting. So misery on both sides there. But I figured out how much I need to be out talking to my friends, being with my daughter, being with our other kids, even being in work situations where I get to talk to people more, finding that connection elsewhere. Mm-hmm. And that's all okay. That is all absolutely okay. And this says a lot of people even can find that connection in fantasy, which again can be a positive or a negative, depending on how it's going. And then more comfort, opening up more. So that can be kind of the result of the, again, all power struggle, it's not bad.
Right.
It's not bad. You're going to go through some stuff that's uncomfortable. You're going to learn, you're going to change. But you're also hopefully at the end of it, and it's ongoing. It's never ending. You'll be a little bit more comfortable. You can express your needs. You can establish boundaries better. So depending on the relationship, some relationships settle into one person having most of the power and the other person not. And sometimes both of them are okay with that.
Yes,
those are your probably more traditional, where the man's working outside the house and making all the money decisions and the woman's at home taking care of the kids. If they're both okay with that, there is absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Right.
I would say in this day and age, it's more common that one person has the power in some situations and the other person has the power in other situations. Yeah. And again, it can change. So like with Todd and I, he drives.
Yep, same.
Because if I drive, he is, and granted, I have no directional abilities, so him telling me where to go is usually necessary.
Yes, yep.
But then he a couple times, and this is why I just let him drive because it pisses me off. I'll be like, hey, slow down here. This is a bad intersection. I drive this twice a day.
Oh, okay.
I know how to merge into traffic. It's like, you telling me where to turn, necessary. You telling me how to merge onto Dodge when I do it 500 times a week, not necessary. But I let him have that power. I don't say anything when he does it. 95% of the time he drives. So I let him have that power. He makes final decisions with his kids. We have a blended family.
See, now this I think is cool.
I make final decisions with mine. We both ask for input. We'll both listen. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to judge the decisions he makes with his kids. He's not going to judge, unless it's really off the reservation bad. I
feel, and I'm impressed because we've talked about this, but it's very easy to be an asshole. Right? When you're taking opinions and getting the input in, and then you just blatantly do what you're going to do anyways. And I think especially in a relationship with a blended family, it's good to have the expectation set. Hey, I'm going to bring this to you, but I very well may not use anything you say.
And we have that expectation and we do well with that. And we kind of do the same thing with our careers.
Oh, cool.
This is your project. This is your job. You're going to ask, but what you ultimately do, I'm going to trust you to make that right decision, even if it's not what I suggested.
Right.
And the same thing with me. So we do that. And then on my side, I'm in charge of making entertainment plans, food plans,
that works.
Most of the time vacation plans, because I don't even know how to describe myself. I'm a fun lover.
I'm a fun lover.
Anything that can be fun, that I can make fun, I'm going to be doing it. And Todd is more of you kind of have to drag him out of the house. Once you do, he's very glad he did it. But number one, too many decisions overwhelm him.
Yep.
Number two, he'll generally be happy with whatever I make him do. But he doesn't know what I'll be happy with, which is terrible because I'd be happy with anything. But
oh, you say that.
Not anything.
I guarantee, because I'm in the same boat. I could find the one thing. Like if we went to Disneyland and I planned it, I would find the one thing that Liz would just be like, really this was garbage. Why would we come all the way here?
And then the other thing is I am constantly in the know because I'm out so much more.
Yes.
I'm very social. I'm out with my friends. I'm always looking for events. I'm always finding things out.
Know the restaurants.
I know the restaurants. I know all of it. So I'm just the better person to make those decisions. But those are the things that are kind of set. We still have power struggle in some new areas. We just bought that building. That was a power struggle big time. Do you want me involved? Well, if you want me involved, I have to make some decisions. Well, and we figured it out.
I want to be involved.
But there was a power struggle there, figuring out, who was really in charge of that part of our life.
Right.
So, and I'm not saying it's over because
it ain't over.
It'll come up again.
You still have the building.
But power struggles. So that's step 6, ascend. That's how you would ascend in a relationship. That's how you would ascend with your either new clients or prospects. Do you have anything to add to step 6?
No, I just want to reiterate your car situation is not far off because I am a great backseat driver, number one. But the only difference with ours is because our girls ask all the time, why does Dad always drive? And Liz is very polite. But she can't do long drives, and she forgets that she can't do long drives.
Oh, yeah.
And there's been many times that I'm like, okay, Brandon, let this go. And then we stop at the first rest stop and we switch.
Yeah.
Because she gets tired. She gets bored.
Yeah.
But then she doesn't want to be the one that always has to deal with the kids and everything.
Right.
So she wants that trade-off. But I mean, we drove back from Sioux City and I had to work. So she was driving and I think we were 30 minutes in and she's like, I am tired. Of course you are. Of course you are. But no,
smile and nod.
Again, I'm excited for this stage because you can start doing some things that I struggle with when you're like, oh, but don't do that because that's salesy.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, I'm a salesman and I am salesy, but I feel here it's still done correctly. You can't just go willy-nilly.
Yeah.
But here you can start bringing in some of those, not sales pitch, but hey, if we can do this, we can also offer this. But you're in such a more related and comfortable environment because you've done so many things already. You, like you said, you've earned it.
Yeah.
But I think, and I think we've said this with every step, I think some people try to jump into this step right here.
Yeah.
And you're even saying some can honestly skip this depending on what the product is.
Depending, yes.
But there are some salespeople that are just like, and the death of a salesman is talking. All right, Angela, well, here's your bid. Before you say anything, though, let me take 30% off.
Yeah.
It's like, I was going to
just devalue
go
themselves.
for this. Yes. And I think that's what this step kind of is. But if you have the backing and the process and the wheel going as it should, you can do those things. Yeah. Plus, you'll know if you need to take 30% off on the upgrade because you know your client better.
Absolutely. Awesome. So next time, not next week, but next time, step 7, promote.
Ooh.
That is wrong. Step 7 is advocate. It's advocate. I keep wanting to switch. I was writing the blogs up for these, and I even sent Dan a message. I'm like, these are flip-flopped. It should be promote, then advocate.
But it's
advocate and then promote,
well,
which they're very similar.
Let's tear that apart next time.
We will. Hopefully I got it right. If not, I'll be hearing about it.
No, that's all right.
But yes, next time is step 7, advocate.
Advocate. Check us out on YouTube, the Pixel Fire YouTube page, because Angela had some motions. The zoop, zoop, zoop doesn't mean much if you can't see where you're zooping.
They're good zoops.
So check us out on there. We've got the brick wall, so you can check out our new backgrounds and the cool lights. Speaking of lights, likes are cool. Do you like what
smooth?
I did there?
Smooth.
That's stage 7 right there. And reviews, right?
We love reviews.
We love reviews.
Good reviews. Yes. All right. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll talk to you next time.